soul. Now, the soul, when the soul does the same thing that the spirit does, it uses this power of nata or nata shakti to manifest that part of to manifest that part of the manifested soul. And then the manifested soul uses nata again to create the various vehicles of expression in order to involve creation and in order to involve itself even more. So what we talked about last week, we talked about those vehicles of expression for the soul, which is the Sushumna, which the soul creates this auric body of substance and take this thing called the Shakti power and mold it and push it down Sushumna. It pushes it down Sushumna. Now, inside of Shakti is all things. You have the Nata, which is absolute sound, or that creative sound vibration. Then you have the Vernati, which is the wisdom, the signature of wisdom throughout all creation. You have the karmic pressure, which all creation is framed into. You have this universal mind substance. And you have the Dana, or is love, which is the power of preservation. And you have the Mahabhutas, which is the cosmic elements of the universe. And you have the 5 major and 5 minor pranas, and we have the tabic rays that radiate from the soul of the logos for us. The soul mold and shape this Shakti power and push it down Sushumna in order to create this thing, this limited field of consciousness for itself. And then it brings it to a halt at the base chakra, which is the base of the spine, the Muladhara chakra, which is here. There, this Shakti power turns into this thing called Kundalini, which is a vehicle of consciousness for the soul. Then this Kundalini takes this Shakti power that it has wrapped up in a 3.5 knot, what we call 3.5 knot, and which is Kundalini, and it splits this Shakti power into a flow of energy. That flow of energy that it splits it up into is 2 flows of energy, which is called Ida and Pingala Natis. You have the Ida Natis and the Pingala Natis. This Ida and Pingala Natis creates a matrix throughout the auric body called the Natis. And this matrix is 242,000 pathways of Natis. These 242,000 pathways of Natis actually enter and exit all the chakras, all the major chakras. Now we only list 7 chakras here, but there's a total of 108 chakras that these Natis enter and exit, creating what is called the Nadi knots, right? And wherever you find the Nadi knots, you find a chakra, either a minute chakra, a minor chakra, or a major chakra. Now, the intersection of these Natis creates a vortex center of Shakti consciousness, basic Shakti consciousness, or evolved Shakti consciousness, which is the point in which the Kundalini consciousness can operate when moving through the nadi knots. Now, the chakras and the nadis combine with the auric body and the power of Kundalini flowing through it, and the background being Shushana, it forms the first humanoid type body called the etheric body, which is a subtle body with head, arms, hands, trunk, and legs and feet. But it's a subtle type body, and this subtle type body usually operates, and it operates from the upper chakras, from the heart up, from the heart center up. Now, it uses the energy configuration of those upper chakras, and it becomes the body that the supraconscious mind works through. And it is made of, as I said, of the tremendous power of Kundalini, the nadis, and the chakras, which make up this auric type subtle body called the etheric body. And it operates on those planes of existence that correlate with the heart chakra, the throat chakra, and the Christ chakra, and the crown chakra. Now, from this etheric body, from there, the soul uses the etheric body to manufacture the other mental bodies, which is the subconscious body, there's the subconscious mind, and the conscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind and the conscious mind actually came from the supraconscious mind. All right, now we only going to deal with the superconscious mind, but the superconscious mind manufactured the subconscious mind and the conscious mind in order to make it the lower chakras, in order to help formulate the lower chakras. The lower chakras being the chakras underneath the heart chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra and the sex chakra and the base chakra. All right. So here we have the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind. Now, because of this, the superconscious mind becomes the background for all the other chakras. And therefore, the etheric body has a configuration in all those other chakras too. But in order to operate on the level of those chakras, an energy formation is brought about, and from that energy formation of the 5 major pranas, the astral body is formed, which is a lower subtle body that operates on the lower chakras. The chakras from the solar plexus center down. And of course it's made from the formation of the lower chakras as stated here, and then you can have the manifestation of a physical body, which is a gross physical body made from the gross material of creation. So these are the major points of the makeup of man. All right. As you see in the diagram, the upper chakras make up the etheric rims, and the lower chakras make up the three general, the three basic general astral realms, and then below that you have the 7 lower astral realms, which of course we know in some places they call that hell, or the hells. Now, all of these vehicles of expression are manufactured from subtle auric substance and mind substance, in fact, including the physical body. The physical body represents the grossest form of that mental configuration of all the other bodies. And in some books and some teachings, they call it the wasteland. The physical and astral realms are actually the wasteland, and it's where basic life form. So this is the makeup of man, and let me tell you, one of the reasons why this information is important. In fact, this is all metaphysics. And one of the reasons why this information is very important to understand, is that from here brings about your ability to discriminate. Without proper discrimination, you will not learn and you will not move forward. So it's very, very important to understand the facts and the knowledge and the understanding behind this. Because without it, you won't learn. You will open your mind for any and everything, whether it makes sense or don't make sense. There's a definite science behind the yogi metaphysical teachings and their court metaphysical teachings. And it's not that everything is accepted. Almost everything is possible, but everything is not acceptable. And everything is only possible under the right conditions. So by understanding and studying the makeup of man, you begin to understand the tremendous laws of karma and discrimination, so that you can progress and learn. So when someone come and speak to you about raising Kundalini in 3 days, you will know how idiotic that is. If someone come and tell you can develop clairvoyant powers overnight, you will understand how idiotic that is, unless that person is an adept or master. So you can, it builds a level of discrimination, and then you understand the science behind it. And that's why this becomes so important. If you study the Serpent Power by Arthur Avalon, which is one of the best books written on Tantra Yoga, and Tantra Yoga means, Tantra itself means to loop the yogi sciences together. Because in Tantra Yoga, you have Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Mantra Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga. You have all the yogas. You have Laya Yoga, Agni Yoga. All the yogas are in Tantra. So one of the best books written, and Dr. King even said, the Serpent Power book, Dr. George King said the Serpent Power book is a book with more information and knowledge in it than the Secret Doctrines of Madame Blavatsky. And if you study the Serpent Power book, you will notice that it is a book talking specifically about the makeup of mankind. The subtle makeup of man's bodies. If you study a basic metaphysical book, it's very popular as well, called The 14 Lessons, that's what it talks about. It talks about the same thing. If you study an advanced cosmic treatise that's easy to read, you're not going to understand it that well. It'll take you many years to understand it, just like the Serpent Power book, it takes 20, 30 years to begin to understand. Called The 9 Freedoms, it talks about the makeup of mankind. It talks about this same thing. So all metaphysics lean towards this, because until you get this right, you will not understand the greater metaphysical sciences. So that's why the makeup of the mystic makeup of mankind is very, very important, or some people like to call it the mystic constitution of man. It's very, very important. So until you understand these points, you will not understand metaphysics. So discrimination, this brings about the correct level of discrimination. So Sushumna, which is located physically on the body, we place it at the base, the spinal column. Kundalini, which is at the base of the spine. This is what the Shakti power moves into a 3.5 knot configuration, energy configuration. The nadis is the formation that comes about after the 3.5 knot configuration. It breaks up the Shakti power into 2 different energy formations, and it moves up to each chakra, entering and exiting each chakra, each major chakra along the spine and throughout the body. From that comes the etheric body, a formation of the etheric body. The etheric body is the highest subtle body that we have within our makeup, and from the etheric body comes the mental bodies, which is the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and superconscious mind, and the control and the formation of the 5 major pranas and 5 minor pranas. From that comes the astral bodies, and from the astral bodies we can form a physical body. Because the physical body responds to the astral body quicker than anything, because as we know, the physical body responds to what? Anyone know? Emotion and desire. So there's a science behind this. So don't get mixed up with all the hoopla and all these websites and different places that promise all these things. Understand that this is the foundation of metaphysics. And when you understand this, then you can begin to understand the deeper sciences. Now today we were going to go into the development side of this. Yeah.
I know we discussed this before, but this can only really be taught, like we're saying, from the top down. It can't go from man back up to spirit.
Yeah, that's the proper way to do it, from top to down. I mean, you could try it, but you're going to lose. I think you're going to lose a lot more people talking from the physical up to, because they have to understand how the physical came about. If I was designing a house, I can't talk about the walls unless I show how the walls are built, right? Because if I start from the interior decoration part of it, it makes no sense, But because therefore you will know what the capacity of the walls are. If you don't know, it's like if I want to hang something on the wall, how do I hang that on the wall? How do I know the wall's gonna hold it up? But if you went from the point where I showed you that the wall was made out of concrete and block concrete and steel, then you'll know the capacity of the wall. So that's how metaphysics is. They teach you your inheritance, where you came from. You are spirit. You're spirit that have created a soul, and that soul has been given directives to involve itself through creation in order to move back, to make a 360-degree turn back to spirit and gain experience on its journey. And that's all we really know. But if I start with the bottom, then you can't see anything. But if we go back to the top and look down into the valley, you can see the pathway. And now when you get to the valley, you know how to get back to the top. So that's how all the teachings teach this subject. They don't start from the physical. And the ones who do, they lack discrimination. And that's why we have all these crazy groups out there. And it's true. Because they don't have a true roadmap. And you have some of these spiritual groups saying, the etheric or astral realms are this airy fairy place. It's not physical. It's not, it's totally mental. And yet this world is a mental world. And I defy anyone to tell me to say that it's not a mental world. This is part of the mental world. Because everything comes from the mental world. And if this world is physical, why not the astral world is physical? Why not the etheric realms are physical? It's physical. So it's because this world operates on a mental level. And we can see that. We can see that. And now mankind have the drugs to even show you. They had it for years, but they could give you an injection and turn you into a zombie, where you experience life as a dog or a cat. You can't. You don't realize your own self-consciousness. So what is that? That's a mental world. Your whole world changed by one shot. If we experience a certain pain and we don't want to experience those pains, we go and take a pill or some type of chemical, and it shifts our consciousness so that the pain is there, but we just don't feel it. It's a mental world. So those, that's the difference. So you cannot go just physical up, because it won't, you'll miss. You'll miss. And those ones that, like I said, the ones who do that, they make big mistakes, because they associate everything with the physical world. Which that's the wrong road. A lot of these alchemists, so-called alchemists, they associate everything with the physical world, and that's why they can't understand the mental states. If they went from the mental level and came down to the physical level, then they would begin to understand those mental states. That's the way it should be done.
And this process is repeated for everything. Like the sun has its the same process for man, it's the same process for the sun, for a galaxy,
Everything.
everything.
Everything. Even the sun has a soul. And it is the proper soul management that allows the sun to evolve. Everything. It is the process of everything. Even a rock has a soul. And it is the proper soul management of that rock that allows it to evolve. Just like a bug or a dog. You know, we have a dog called Fufu. And the dog have had 3 litters. And it outlived most of its pups. Because why? She's highly intelligent. She knows how to avoid everything. She's very cautious. You know, she knows when to stay around the house and when to leave. You know, she knows how to, when she don't want to eat what we give her, she knows how to go and hunt her food and get back home safe. But the puppies are much more ignorant than what she is. Even when they become adults, they still stupid, you know. But so it's the proper soul management. She's on a greater level than the other dogs. And that's just, you know, it's just proper soul management. So that's the difference between each and every one of us. It's how we manage ourselves that will propel us through evolution. So it's the same. Even the solar system has a soul. Even the galaxy has a soul. So this is the thing that gives you the discrimination. You know. So that's the difference.
And when we move up in the psychic centers and we operate in the different realms, we're interacting with everything on that level. So say if I move up to the heart center, I'm interacting with this table on that realm, like this part of the table on that realm,
Yeah.
this part of the sun on that realm.
Yeah, and everything below you. You become aware of the consciousness of those things on that particular level. That's why on the higher levels, when you hear the masters talk, and throughout all the books or all the recorded documents of the adepts and the masters, when they get to a certain level, let's say if they needed a particular building or temple, then they extract those needed elements from the Mother Earth and build that temple, and they give that temple a specified time to stay in existence, only for the purpose of whatever they need that for. And that's it. Now, that's not saying that the temple only going to be there for a few hours. It might be there for 1 million years. But at that point in time, it disappears. It goes back to the original because it doesn't want to hold up the development of those particular life forms that make up that temple. Because they are life forms. The dirt, the rock, the sand, the steel, you know, whether it's auric dirt or auric steel, it makes up that. Okay? So that's the difference. So
Does everything have a spirit and soul?
everything has a spirit and soul.
Hmm? Oh, you can hear it.
Any other questions?
And the spirit of everything is the same spirit, right? It's all
In a
the
sense,
divine,
yeah.
in a sense, the
In a
same
sense, yeah.
as our link.
It's our link to the absolute.
Would you say that the soul of the sun, for example, I know it's the level of consciousness in a sense, but what distinguishes the soul of the sun with like my soul? Is it separate in a sense, or is it because everything's connected? Yet we talk about these souls like the galaxy has a soul, the sun has a soul, as if it's separate. But
the greater, the thing is just like you can see the subtlety in what I was just talking about that particular temple, right? That a master might erect or develop. The master or the adept who bring it to manifestation, those things outside, from the Mother Earth, it uses its mental power to formulate that, right? So when it does that, its mental energy gave that, that thing some type of configuration and formation, right? So he or she, being the master, is forever connected to that. It gave a piece of itself to that thing. Now, the sun gives a piece of itself to us. That's how we exist. Everything that we make, everything that we have is solidified sunlight. So the sun is our immediate God and our immediate energy source. So the higher we become, the more the more we advance and the more we move up in consciousness, the more we realize that we are responsible for everything and everybody around us. So when we can learn to extend our consciousness, our energies to helping every and anything around us, then that's how we advance. That's how we move up the ladder. Now, I don't want to get too deep into this, but the sun is an amalgamation of many souls that have amalgamated together to bring about one entity. And the planets is the same thing. So, that might be the biggest difference between our so-called individual soul and the soul of a planet or a sun. But the key is service. That's the key. The more you evolve, the more you move forward, the greater responsibility you take of those things around you. And you give them service. The same way the earth serves us 24 hours a day. The same way the sun serves us 24 hours a day. Everything that comes from the earth serves us 24 hours a day. The air, the trees, the dirt, everything serves us 24 hours a day. So, that's the great difference.
A question. We receive energy from the sun and we receive from the earth. Do they receive anything from us? Is there an exchange? And the other way around, do we have something to give to them back?
In a sense, we do. Our development, our evolvement. The more we evolve, the greater their position becomes in what they do, because their purpose is to assist us in evolution. When we stagnate and pollute and destroy the earth even more, we're creating a greater resistance, instead of a pull towards the Mother Earth. See, because there's always an exchange of energy between us and the Mother Earth. But whether that energy is good or bad is another thing. When we, when we can raise our consciousness to the highest possible level, then of course another level will be introduced to us to raise it even higher. But then we would see the real treasures of the earth. The magnetic exchange of energy between us and the earth will be tremendous. An unlimited source of energy on all levels, we would not struggle, and we would not waste our time in the manner that we do into just providing for ourselves physically or mentally or whatever, So, it wouldn't take us days and weeks and months to build the Empire State Building, years. That can happen within seconds when we have that great exchange with the Mother Earth, because she will unleash and give us everything we need, at just within the moment that we request it. The magnetic power will be there to manifest that what we need right away. Right now, she cannot have that exchange with us because of the level of our consciousness. The karmic law prevent her from doing that. Just like the karmic law prevent her from giving us the greatest precious metals and resources that she has. Karmic law prevent her from doing this. We have to go through this crude and long, arduous scientific search to find the rare minerals within her. And that's all because of karma. Don't think that's because we haven't evolved enough. Because what happened is the cosmic master, or the ascended master, he knows about these things. These things have been given to him, and that's why he can do what he can do. And that's the greatest difference. There's no real thing as magic as you think it is. It's because he has been given access to the tremendous storehouse of energy of this planet, and probably any other planet he will go, because he's in a risen body, and he can create that proper exchange of energy with these great mighty entities and the laws of karma that allow him or her to do the things that they do. It's the level of consciousness.
So, is it possible too that by serving those around us and all beings around us, we indirectly serving these beings, right? Because they don't really need our energy, but indirectly by serving folks who are close to us, aren't we also serving the sun and the earth and all these other beings?
Of course, we serve the sun and the earth either directly or indirectly, negative or positive. We do that. But what I'm saying is that it's from the position in which we do it. Of course we serve them. But is our service good or bad? We serve them a particular energy, and then by karmic law, they have to give us another energy that may not be in our favor. But when we evolve and become more advanced and work from a position of consciousness that we give only beneficial energy to these great godlike beings, then by karmic law, they have to bestow upon us energy, that's favorable to us.
What's beneficial energy? How do we know if it's beneficial energy?
Because if we work within the laws of karma, and then only thing that can come back to us is beneficial. If we work against that forward movement, then things that come back to us is not going to be beneficial to us. So if we begin to work in the law of karma to help to evolve everything around us, then the great masters, the Diva Kingdom, everything around us have to respond to us in a certain way. And that's what that's what this whole yoga is a way of life. It means union with God. You know, so that's what you're doing. You're creating this great unity of God. You're becoming this great powerhouse of balance between you and your deity. And then everything around you have to respond to you as such. Everything. All things. A blade of grass, a mosquito. Everything has to respond to you in the same way. You know, even the great Mother Earth has to respond to you in a certain way. The exchange of energy with you have to be perfect in its making. And that's the direction we're trying to get to. Yeah.
So like Operation Prayer, Power, and Sunbeam are examples of sending the right type of energy.
Right. Right. That's the great wisdom behind that Dr. King had placed before us. It's tremendous. I mean, when you think about it, you say, "Oh my God, why did we do this? Thousands of years ago?" Because that's what all the teachings talk about. All the teachings talk about creating this great exchange of energy between us and the gods, or us and God. So Operation Prayer Power and Operation Sunbeam is an instrument for us to use to begin to do that. And that's a great difference. It's simple as said. It's unbelievable that we didn't think about that, hundreds of thousands of years ago. That's why it was so accepted across the galaxy and duplicated. And duplicated. That says a lot. And duplicated. So that's a big difference.
So how do we do that at all times? Like how do we live prayer power or walk prayer power?
And like I said, by understanding the law, understanding the karmic law, understanding these mystical principles. These mystical principles teaches you the law of karma. The law of karma is action. Doing the right action, making the right action throughout your life, creating the right pattern. That's what the law of karma is. And the yoga means union with God. If you follow the precepts of yoga, then you walk the pathway of God. And then you create all the right actions. All the right actions aligns the energy and the movement of energy within the body. It's not like you have built up all this energy and then you go and you do something evil with it or wrong, right? Then you just, all the energy that took you to do that wrong thing have set you back so many years. But if you build up all this energy and you do something right, then it propels you instead of stagnating you. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's about living this purified type of life. You constantly purifying all your actions. And it takes us a while to find all the wrong actions that we're doing. It takes us many, many lifetimes to figure this thing out. But we can figure it out by using the precepts of this science called yoga, called union with God. And that's why there's so many different yogas. You have you have the Bhakti yoga, which is the yoga of devotion to God. You have Jnana yoga, which is the yoga of wisdom, to God. Then you have Agni yoga, the yoga of fire. You have Kriya yoga and Kama yoga, which is the yoga of action. You have Raja yoga, which is the yoga of mentality, of mental development. You have Hatha yoga, which is the yoga of physical development. You have all these different yogas that has you to move forward. So I mean, embrace one of these yogas and take it to the limit. Because within the yoga is the right way to act, to mold and shape your life in a certain direction in order to build this great unity with God. And that's what we really want. And then everything around us began to vibrate to what we want and what we need. You know, because by then what you want is totally different for what you wanted when you were in balance. When you become balanced, then what you want is things of a higher nature. You know, so that's the great difference. So that's why we teach, and that's why I realized this many years ago. That's why I always teach this type of thing, so that you can it builds a level of discrimination in you, so that you're not tricked by the flowery talk and taken to the wrong way, because it'll take you lifetimes to get out of that. You know, a lot of people have a lot of good intentions, but then they believe in a bunch of foolish stuff. You know, and they can be taken away because they don't know the law and they don't know the teachings. And the teachings is the law. The teachings is the law. That's the difference. So if we the next part of this class is understanding how do we bring about the development of this. Once we understand what Kundalini is, and once we understand what the Natis are and the chakras are, then we can begin to try to control these things. We know that the Kundalini is essentially the vehicle of consciousness for the soul. So therefore, and we should approach it as such. And we know that the Natis is actually a flow of energy that goes into the chakras and create different levels of consciousness for us. Then we can learn to control these things. So if the Natis are a flow of energy, and the yogi teachings is called the life force. The life force, throughout the body, because the Natis carry the life force throughout the body. Then we should seek to control this. And in most yogic practices, we're given a regimen to do, which is pranayama and visualization. Pranayama is breathing exercises. These breathing exercises help us to control the flow of prana or kundalini through the body. You have a negative flow of prana, which is Ida, the Ida Natis, and you have a positive flow of prana, which is the Pingala Natis. And the flow of these Natis when they intersect, it creates segments of consciousness. When the Ida Nati crosses the Pingala Nati, you have a level of consciousness. So yoga teaches us to take control over this flow of energy in the Natis and control it. And we do that through various yoga practices. Now, the Natis terminate where? Where does the Natis terminate? Anyone?
The basis on the Christ center, or the Christ.
The Christ center, right? Now, when the Nazis terminate there, what do we have there? What's significant about the head region in the Christ Center?
It's a control center.
It's a control center, but and on a physical level, what's a significant thing? Anyone?
Pituitary gland?
You break the cycle of rebirth, or?
No. The significant thing about the head region is that you have 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, right? And you have lips and a tongue, right? You have your 5 senses. You have your 5 senses, which is created by the Nazis, by the termination of the Nazis. This brings about the equilibrium, a basic equilibrium that the Nazis become satisfied with, in a sense. Because when the Nazis is split up, when the Kundalini, when the Shatikar was split up by Kundalini, and the Nazis are formed, which brings about a separation of the energy, it moves forward, like I told you, creating 242,000 pathways. 242,000 pathways to try to blend itself back together again. But when it reaches the Christ Center, which is the command center for the body, what happens there is that it brings about an artificial stabilization of the Nazis by balancing off the 5 major pranas. And those 5 major pranas within the Nazis give us sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. Okay? So that's the big difference. So in the head region, you have an equilibrium of that consciousness, that state of consciousness. All right? So what do we do? The left side of the body represents the mental part of the flow of Nazis, which is Ida, the Ida Nazis. The right side of the body represents the mental flow of the Nazis, which is the vitality part of the Nazis. Now, in most yoga practices, they teach us deep breathing exercises. The deep breathing exercises, the nostrils are the things that actually is the greatest source of energy manipulation and energy formation in the body, which is the input and the export of prana. Okay, turn the lights on. Of prana. So the next level of prana that goes in and out of the physical body is the water, right? Is water. And then the next is food. So the intake of food, water, and prana is the thing that helps keep the body alive and in motion. Now, if we look at food, water, and prana, which one gives us? Which one would bring about death the quick if we are starved of death?
Prana.
Prana, the breath, right? Which is the largest intake of prana. All right, 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, most likely death will ensue. If you cut yourself off of oxygen, which is prana, which is the major source of prana to the body. With food, you might can go from 3 days up to 3 weeks before death, come about.
With what?
Water, huh?
3 days with water.
No, I'm saying 3 days to 3 weeks with food,
Without any food in the system.
without any food in the system. Because some people who are not healthy, 3 days they die, so they go into a deep coma and die. Now, but with water, usually 3 to 5 days you die, without water. But with prana, with air, with oxygen, within 5 minutes. So it tells you the importance that the nostrils, or the air that goes through, the oxygen that goes through the nostrils, is important to keeping the level of consciousness. So the yogis realized this thousands of years ago, and they began to control this flow of prana, or oxygen, in and out of the body. Now also, scientists came about, and they realized that with every unit of air that we breathe in, 20% of that goes to the brain. And the brain is the receiving set, and a transmitting set for consciousness and information. 20%, and that's a lot. When most brains only weigh like 5 pounds, between 2 to 5 pounds. So 20% of all the oxygen coming into your body goes directly to the brain. That's a lot. If you do it mathematically, you'll see that that's a lot. So we know that it's very, very important to controlling our state of consciousness. So what most, whether you're in Raja Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Vata Yoga, or Nani Yoga, or Kundalini Yoga, you always attach pranayama exercises, which is breathing exercises, to this science of yoga. To do what? To regulate the breath and take control over the breath, so that you can control your mental level of consciousness, right? And that's the reason why you do the breathing exercises. And what it does, it quickly enhances your mentality. You can, right now, you can breathe in and out several times, and you'll notice that your mind becomes clear. So imagine if you spent a lifetime taking out 2-3 hours a day in breathing exercises. So what the yogis did, they took these breathing exercises and they placed visualization practices with the breathing exercises and the science of the chakras and the nadis, right? So the science of the chakras and the nadis, along with the breathing exercises, they realized the science of the nadis, realizing that through the breathing exercise, because the nadis this is Ida and this is Pingala. That is the entry of Ida and Pingala. The eyes are another entry point of Ida and Pingala. The ears is another entry point of Ida and Pingala. Even the mouth. So they put together exercises to control your sight, your hearing, your intake of breath, and your speech. Because all these are entry and exit points of the nadis. Now, the nadis start from where? It starts from, anyone?
Basis.
The base of the spine. What's in the base of the spine? Kundalini. So, the expression of Kundalini is speech, breath, intake of breath, smell, your sight, your hearing, and your taste. All those are expression of Kundalini. Now, when you control these, this expression of this Kundalini, by controlling it, you inhibit it, and you push that energy in one direction, then you create different levels of consciousness. And that's what yoga is about. Directing the consciousness towards a particular object. And usually that object should be an object of one of the yogis, one of the yogas, which is union with God. You make union with God through physical development, or you make union with God through mental development, or you make union with God through devotion to God. So that's what all yoga exercises is about, developing one or all of the senses to push it in one direction of consciousness. And that's what this whole thing is about. So that's today we're at 1:35. I guess we can come to an end. Have any questions?
Did we get into today's lesson?
Yeah, that's
okay.
into today's lesson. Any questions?
What we're doing here, this is Raja Yoga? Is this Raja Yoga, what we're doing here?
This is mostly Nani and Raja.
What's the
And,
difference between Mani, wisdom, and Raja, mental?
Well, Nani Yoga is a yoga of wisdom. And that wisdom is given to you to develop you mentally. And Bhakti Yoga is the yoga of devotion. And the wisdom and the mental knowledge will give you a greater devotion towards God. So that's the big difference.
I've been listening on tapes, and one thing Dr. Bruce King has recently said is, and you said it too, everything we experience right now is basically a reflection of a true reality. It's a reflection of our consciousness, but we're not seeing things as is. When he says that, like, I understand intellectually the concept, but if we're not seeing the reality, how on the physical realm are we supposed to go about interpreting everything we see? We just flow with the reflection, or am I supposed to look at this chair and not think of a chair, or like?
No, it's true. It's true to the position of consciousness that you are operating from, but it's not true to the true reality.
When he says the true reality, is he speaking of like our higher
In other
senses,
words, right now, there's a couple hundred people here, but can you see them? So you're not, you operating from the position that you are in right now. So you deal with that reality. But the true reality is, if you were psychic enough, you can either close your eyes or just look psychically, you can see that the room is full of people. And that's the difference. So what you're actually seeing is just a segment of the true reality, just a portion of it. You're not seeing everything.
we shouldn't necessarily like fight that to be able to see the higher, right? We should.
Well, as you grow, you will see it.
I get frustrated.
Huh?
I get frustrated. Like,
Not really. I mean, as you develop yourself and grow, you will see it. I had one of the girls that was here. She comes to the desk and she'll tell me. She said, "Oh, I see all these people in here. I just see the figures of them." She says, "Is that how it is?" I said, "Yeah, that's how it is sometimes. And sometimes you may see all colors and the garments they're wearing and everything. And it was frustrating her because she would see the outline of all the people in the room, but she couldn't make out, faces or whatever, So I mean, and she's a little psychic, so she see those things, but she don't see the whole thing, but just from the level of consciousness that she's working on, So that's, that's one of the things that he's talking about. Is remember, 1 + 1 equals 2, but 1 + 1 can equal 3, and 1 + 1 can equal 7, and 1 + 1 can equal 14. It's from the position in which you want to operate from. Okay, and that's that's just it. We have. I just showed you 9 different aspects of yourself. You can work on the physical plane. You can work on the physical and the astral plane, or you can work on the 5 major pranas and the astral and physical plane, or you can work on the mental, the pranic, the astral, and the physical, all in one. But then when you add all that up, you'll find that there's multiple bodies, Or you can go back to the yogic teachings of Tantra Yoga, and you can count all the Tavic rays, and they say there's a total of 360 Tavic rays, right? And each one of those rays is one complete world. So you have 360 worlds, And in fact, one of the great masters said that in order to move to the he was talking about in order to move Kundalini, you have to conquer 118 worlds.
118?
118 worlds.
Why? Why 118?
Because between the base chakra and the sex chakra, there's 118 Tavic rays. So, and that's looking at it from, just totally scientifically. You have to be able to operate and control,
At the same time.
your consciousness on all those worlds. You have to take control. That's 118 worlds that they tell us.
Just one level to move it?
One level. And that's in the ancient teachings. It was given to us. So that's the big, if you can understand what I'm talking about.
Tremendous concentration, huh?
Tremendous concentration. So that's the reality. The reality is that we are this multiple creature. We have all these multiple layers to ourselves, that's contained in this one limited expression. But there's many, many different levels to look on. So even on this basic realm, these 2 basic realms that most of us operate on, there's at least that we know 118 different expressions, different worlds of existence that we must learn to control and conquer.
By being in a physical consciousness, are we actually then conquering all the lower ones? Are we like only in this one, or are we doing the same thing with the lower ones right now?
You mean like the lower animal kingdom and the middle kingdom? To a certain extent, yeah. We have conquered it to the point where we have this thing we call self-consciousness, which becomes a great hindrance for ourselves. So we have to even move above this thing called self-consciousness.
Do we let go of those, or do we just add on top of?
We have to release ourselves from the animalistic nature that still dwells within our subconsciousness.
Yeah, but we want to go back to like the instinctual. Like we want to be instinctual.
We want to we want to become super conscious. We want to move from the conscious mind level to the super conscious mind level. See? Because at the super conscious mind level, we are aware of our self-consciousness, but we're also aware of our supreme consciousness. See? And it's not just a vague awareness. You know, we understand our position, we understand our duty, we understand, you know, the manipulation of energy as karma. And we understand that we must walk a certain way, do everything a certain way in order to, and then we have a greater freedom. Don't think we're restricted. You know, it's just like right now, in your state of consciousness right now, you won't walk out into the busy highway, right, with the blindfold on, right? You won't do that. Because why? You know, that's just stupid. It's just a way to injure yourself, you know. So, you know, you won't do that. So the more you grow in understanding, the more you realize that your past actions were like you placing a blindfold and walking out in the middle of the highway. So you get a greater freedom to see that now you can move from this planet to the other side of the galaxy, right? But you restrict your movements because you understand, you know, the law. You understand that, and when you move from this side to the other side of the galaxy, it must be for a reason to expend such energy. But you can still move there. You can still do it within the law. So in other words, you have a greater freedom along with a greater responsibility. Because you understand what the 6.5, almost 7 billion people on the physical plane need versus the no telling how many billions of people on the lower astral realm need. You know, because there's more people on the lower realms than what it is on this physical realm. You know, so you understand that, and you understand their needs, and you become an instrument in helping them to get what they need. So it's just a greater wisdom, you know.
Why are there so many more people alive today than at other times in history?
Well, we don't know that. We assume that. You know. I'm sure it was just as much or more people during the days of Atlantis, you know, and during the days of Lemurians. But on the backward planet, this is a backward planet, you know. There's always more people on the lower realms than what it is on the higher realms. But now, according to our recorded history, this is most people been on Earth, you know, in this civilization. But there was a civilization before this. I'm sure it was much more people on Earth than what it is here now in our present, you know, time. But of course, you know, we have to, of course, men have to go and try to discover that and realize it. And, you know, when they find all the sunken cities, and that's if there's any remains of it, or they find it recorded. Well, which it seems lately they've been finding a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, but you know, it's not being publicized.
Yeah, but I mean, some, you know, the leaks come out though. You know, but I'm sure they'll find that to be so. You know, but a lot of the ancient religions and orders throughout the world, a lot of them have recorded information throughout Africa, throughout India, throughout China. They have recorded information of the populations of Buddha, Atlantis and Lemurians. They have recorded information on it. So it's there, it's just whether man wants to accept it or even release it. Information is there. Because the Buddhist order did not come about with the famous Buddha. Everybody know that, right? The Buddhist order was around.
Before.
It was around way back in the days of Atlantis. So I mean, just like some of the Egyptian orders was around way back from the days of Atlantis. I think it came from the days of Atlantis. So that's, I mean, you just study the teachings of Madame Blavatsky, the Isis Unveiled and the Secret Doctrines. They will tell you that the Atlantis failed 850,000 years ago. Those orders were, in fact, over 850,000 years ago. And those orders were existing with, during those times, before that time. Any other questions?
I want to get my fingers into the checking though. No questions? There was only 3 people there? No, 7.
7 people?
That's including me.
Well, 5 guests and 3 viewers.
Noel asked why during the summertime those people show up to it.
I don't know, we need to ask them. I guess they go on vacation like everybody else.
Duh, Noel.